We really need to wake the hell up right now. I mean, really get our crap together. We were told that we had nothing to worry about. We were told America was still the dominant superpower, but that was a lie, and Trump damn well knows it. That's why he's sounding the alarm. Right now, Americans can't buy homes anymore. Credit card debt is at an all-time high. This is not the country I grew up in. And the truth is, China's Communist Party has been quietly, systematically outmaneuvering the United States for over the last 2 decades, while we've been asleep at the wheel, pushing DEI policies in the government. And now the consequences are here. Not just the fun, silly stuff like valet car robots that, organize your cars in China with AI. Yeah, they announced that this weekend. Or their new super train that runs on magnets. Yeah, they announced that this weekend. It travels at 650 kilometers an hour. Oh, and it goes from 0 to 650 kilometers in 7 seconds. But if that sounds fast, you're right. A Boeing 737 travels at 840 kilometers per hour, give or take. How many years was this in development? About 5 years. California has been trying to build a high-speed rail since 1996, my second year of college at the University of Pittsburgh, and it's still not built 29 years later. God, I'm feeling old. So I'm not even talking about that stuff. I'm talking about the really big stuff that Trump is facing. The media is totally ignoring. And we have a couple of new reports that I want to go over with you today because they will be devastating for the United States unless we act immediately and swiftly. First, we need to talk about China's takeover of the global logistics chain and deep water ports around the world. I found this to be shocking. While most Americans are worried about inflation and gas prices right now, China has been quietly taking over the world's most strategic shipping ports all around the world. That's right, and they now have operational control or major influence over more than 50 deepwater ports across Asia, Africa, Latin America, and the Middle East. And this isn't just about trade, this is about naval mobility, military positioning, and economic leverage. I mean, have you seen China's fully automated AI-driven ports all loading and unloading just using AI, no humans? It's insane to watch. Here's Congressman Rich McCormick.
China is crushing us in their advancements. They have 50 deep water ports that could produce their largest carriers and submarines. We have 2. If we go to war, we got a lot of catch up to do.
And here's what that really means. If a conflict breaks out tomorrow, China can move ships, weapons, fuel, and supplies faster than we can because they've already pre-positioned their influence across the globe. So according to a new report, if a conflict breaks out, the U.S. would need to rely on ports that are 90% controlled by China and other countries. Hey, do you mind if we offload our Humvees and our tanks right here at your port? Yeah, we're going to use these tanks to attack you. Oh, it's owned by China? Sorry, that's not going to happen. According to the Center for Strategic and International Studies, this new report says China's port strategy is deliberately designed to project power through infrastructure. These ports are dual use, yes, commercial and military. These aren't just harmless trading hubs, they're strategic forward bases. And they've been working on this plan for 40 years while we've been bombing Afghanistan and Iraq. So instead of building military bases around the world like we do, what do? They built ports and they own them strategically around the world. So they don't need to have military bases there. The logistics hubs are far more important. So while Joe Biden was taking millions of dollars from the Chinese Communist Party, all of this was happening.
The Biden first family through Hunter Biden and China CEFC Energy, China CEFC Energy was taking $5 to $10 million in consulting fees from Chinese energy firms as Hunter Biden was flying on Air Force One to China with Vice President Biden in order to secure those deals.
But we're finally now just waking up to it. The Biden administration did nothing in response as China massively increased its Belt and Road Initiative in Latin America. They did nothing. The Modern Diplomacy report called it what it is, a silent siege, a creeping logistical conquest that's choking off U.S. influence in the Americas and beyond. I mean, they're in our own backyard. So while we spend billions defending proxy wars across the world, bombing other countries, sending trillions of dollars to Ukraine, Afghanistan, Iraq, Israel, China is winning the real war without firing a single shot by controlling the supply lines. And if you don't control the supply lines, you lose the war before it even starts. And Trump knows this. That's why he's making major moves right now, which we'll get to here in a second. But let's be clear, China is preparing for war. China knows that neocons in D.C. have been begging for a war with China now for 2 decades. They've been preparing for it. And the military-industrial complex has been advertising their coming war on American television.
Hello there. Welcome to another episode of Meet the Press Reports, where each week we do an in-depth exploration of a single topic. Today, we have a unique and special episode. This is a war game that takes a look at how the United States might react if China were to invade Taiwan.
So while all that was happening, China's not just sitting there quietly doing nothing. They've been investing. They've been investing $300 billion into defense modernization, building hypersonic missiles that we can't shoot down, AI-powered drones, satellite-killing weapons, cyber warfare infrastructure, a massive naval fleet in the South China Sea. And while they integrate private tech into military systems through civil-military fusion, is what they call it, what are we doing? We're arguing about whether the Pentagon needs more DEI seminars. I mean, I literally spoke to a U.S. Marine on Friday night who worked at the Pentagon just before Trump took over. And he told me there was a Karen that would just walk up and down the halls making sure people were wearing their COVID masks. And then she'd yell at them. It's a good use of our military and our tax dollars right now. China now conducts more naval exercises in the Pacific than the U.S. Navy. We are outnumbered and outmaneuvered. We're stretched thin in Ukraine, Gaza, the Red Sea, Taiwan. And of course, China knows this. But this next part shook me because it's about brains, not bombs. According to a recent Belfour Center report, in 2024, China graduated 3 times as many computer scientists as the United States. So let that sink in. 3 times as many. They're crushing us in computer engineering. They also outpaced us in AI research papers, patents, lower power chip design. Their photonic chips are now 1,000 times faster than traditional silicon-based chips. So while we're debating TikTok bans, China is rewriting the laws of computing. And they're not stopping. They're building quantum systems that could shatter encryption, crush financial systems, dominate global surveillance. We're not even close. So what does this all mean? It means that the CCP doesn't just have a military advantage, they have a supply chain to back it up. China controls over 80% of the global rare earth processing industry right now. And that means everything from your iPhone to EVs to missile systems relies on Chinese supply chains. Meanwhile, the U.S. imports 65% of its copper, and our domestic mines are withering under bureaucracy, liberal bureaucracy, environmental lawsuits, zero investment infrastructure, many of them shut down under President Biden. That's why Trump just dropped the mother of all bombshells last week, and it was totally hidden amidst all of the Epstein chaos, which is still going on right now. I mean, I'm talking to you on this Sunday morning right now, and oh my God, the Epstein stuff is not going away, and I damn well hope it doesn't. But something that dropped that no one covered, no one talked about. Trump announced on August 1st, 2025, a 50% tariff on copper imports will begin.
The bottom line is that if there is a time of war, then we need to have the metals that we need to produce American weapons, and copper is a key component in many American weapon sets. And so as we look forward to the threats that America faces, the president decided that we have plenty of copper in the U.S., but not enough copper production, and that's why he's taken this strong step.
This isn't politics. This is survival. This is a major blow to foreign countries like China and a huge boost to any U.S. companies that are mining copper in the United States. This is an economic war, and Trump just fired a first real shot. Copper is critical to EVs, solar panels, computers, smart grids, semiconductors, missiles, even 5G towers. And China dominates all of it right now. But now the United States is finally waking up, and for investors, this is a moment of huge opportunity in the United States. So that's the news update part of today's video. Now I want to tell you about today's sponsor, which is tied directly to what Trump just did. And I want to dive deep into this because I've been watching domestic copper projects like this like a hawk for years, as you guys know, if you watch the show for any length of time. So this is your chance right now to get ahead of the curve. Before the mainstream media even knows about what's happening, they're all focused on Epstein, again, which I think is one of the biggest stories in the world right now. But this story is huge for American infrastructure. And before Trump's August 1st deadline hits, we should all pay attention to this. Because in my opinion, the next 90 days are going to reshape the next 9 years in the United States. And the entire industry right now is entering ground floor levels.
He announced it today at the cabinet meeting that he intends to go to 50%, which will be similar to steel and aluminum, which are both 50%, so copper will be 50%. And the idea is to bring copper home, bring copper production home, bring the ability to make copper, which is key to the industrial sector, back home to America. We need that kind of production in America.
This is seismic, in my opinion. So pay attention to this. This is the most impactful opportunity I've ever seen. It clearly prioritizes domestic mineral production in the United States, what Trump just did, as part of the reindustrialization of critical sectors that Trump insists must never be in the hands of other countries. Russia, China, Brazil. It's all for the sake of national security. This is what he posted on Truth Social. Quote, I am announcing a 50% tariff on copper effective August 1st, 2025, after receiving a robust national security assessment. Copper is necessary for semiconductors, aircraft, ships, ammunition, data centers, lithium-ion batteries, radar systems, missile defense systems, and even hypersonic weapons, of which we are building many. Copper is the second most used material by the Department of Defense. Why did our foolish and sleepy leaders decimate this important industry? This 50% tariff will reverse the Biden administration's thoughtless behavior and stupidity. America will once again build a dominant copper industry. This is, after all, our golden age. That's a crazy post. I mean, it's spot on. So what you're seeing is the very first chance, in my view, to be part of the rebirth of the American copper mining industry in the United States. Every copper asset or project that is located on U.S. soil is exempt from the 50% tariffs. This is huge. It's such a protective move that basically defers imports and benefits domestic U.S. mining companies. So today's sponsor is an incredible company called Giant Mining. Here is their U.S. ticker on your screen right there. Now, this ticker symbol is available on Interactive Brokers, Charles Schwab, among others. Now, I watched it live as President Trump said that he would put a 50% tariff on copper imports, taking effect on August 1st as part of this new global trade realignment. The markets know fully well that this is real. That's why copper enjoyed its largest intraday gain in 37 years after he made that announcement last week. Now, copper is trading at an all-time high. So mining companies, copper stocks, all surging, broadly speaking. So a 50% tariff on copper imports is a dramatic policy. It immediately makes my mind think about how much more valuable domestic copper projects will be. So Giant Mining, which I've discussed here in the past on this show, you guys know them, they own a past-producing copper mine in Nevada, one of America's best and most cherished mining jurisdictions. Now, the most critical part of all of this is that Giant Mining's share price has still not recovered from that April market shock that we all went through. So the share price today is within a couple of cents from where it was in January of 2025 before Trump took office and reinvented the entire copper industry. This thing is down 50%, okay? 50%, more than half since it peaked back on February 3rd, right after Trump's inauguration, when the markets first realized the major copper changes were coming. So the stock more than doubled back then, but right now it's down 50%. So Nevada is a crown jewel region. The recent drilling results have excited their geologist, their CEO, because the company raised capital just recently to expand their drilling project in Nevada and update the mineral resource. So this is huge news. And now with this milestone statement from Trump this week, this is a slam dunk in my personal opinion. Copper is incredibly important, vital for America's golden age right now. Trump had to act. Copper is a huge part of Trump's plan to dominate AI, make the U.S. a nation of builders once again. By the way, markets are already creating a spread or an arbitrage between London and New York. This is a huge moment for copper and Giant Mining in my personal view. And I've said many times on the show that this is my personal number one copper idea. I've said that repeatedly here on the show for the past few years, and I stand by that statement. Right now, the stock is flat. The share price is down 55% from its February high. The company just raised capital to do more drilling. So just so you understand how historic this move is by Trump, last year, the U.S. imported around 810,000 metric tons of refined copper. That's about half of what it consumed, according to the U.S. Geological Survey. So copper is the third most consumed metal behind iron and aluminum, and Giant Mining owns a past-producing mine in Nevada, and they're drilling it. And of course, you just saw President Trump revealing how important copper is for America's national security. All of this news is huge. So guys, as always, do your own research, do your own due diligence. Here is their ticker on your screen once again. I'll have links in the description as well. And I just want to say thank you guys to the 28,000 of you who started subscribing to us last month alone. 28,000 of you. And thanks to the nearly 3 million of you who've been a longtime subscriber here on the channel. I really just want to say thank you. We were off for a few weeks traveling with the family. And so just want to say thank you so much. I hope you guys are enjoying your summer, and we'll see you next time, everyone.